Week 14 is upon us, nickel and dime nation. Playoff runs are about to spring. Fantasy hopes and dreams are about to be destroyed. Uh, hope your team's strong heading into the playoffs, like your boys is. Dropped 170 points last week. I'm proud of it. But no, week 13 was impressive. We got some good teams. We got some the Packers still owning the Bears. The NFC East still screaming we're the best division in football. But we'll go ahead and recap that week 13 action. We'll get you ready for week 14. Shawn's got an interesting just the stats man for us. Let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You're locked in. It's nickel and dime.
I believe that this just the stats this week is going to blow your mind because it's coming from left field, Drew, and I don't think
Oh,
you see it coming. So
okay.
make sure
I
that
like
y'all
it.
stick
I like it.
around
It's
for that.
it's one of my favorites segments. So we do
Yeah.
because it's so fun to put two players because you don't think about them watching their careers, but when
hmm
their stats are right there in front of you.
Right there in front. Yeah. And they're nameless, so you
Yeah,
have to there it takes the bias out of it,
you're right.
is
You're
what I
right
like
because we
about it,
do
you
get
know?
blinded by our own fandom.
We
I get
do.
it.
We
I
do.
get it.
We
I
have
get it.
we all have our biases, but not in this season. It is Christmas season, Drew. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm feeling great. We didn't win or lose or hurt our draft status. So, if anything, I think a team below us won. So I think we're low. I think we're like fifth now.
Okay. Which is honestly based on what you said, that's where you want to be, right?
Perfect,
Not right,
right there.
Yeah.
Pressure's off. Because my good our good friend and Bengals correspondent Randy Slack made a good point to pray for May, Drake May with
Okay.
UNC. So that's
Oh
another year
wow.
away. So
Is he
maybe Darnold. We got one more year with Sam Darnold and PJ Walker in us. Get the best player available.
Oh man, how do if that's the case, if you get another year, PJ Walker and Sam Darnold, how are you selling this to the fans in the offseason to come back for
Hey,
2023
we
and
got rid
then
of
to have
Mayfield.
another year? You know,
We got rid of Mayfield.
that
That's
happened.
how you sell it.
Yeah, that happened. We'll talk about that a little bit more, I guess,
Yeah.
when we
Yes,
talk
we will.
housekeeping notes.
How
But
definitely. But yeah, so I don't know how you sell it. I don't know. And I don't I know I'm just worried. I'm worried outside of CJ Stroud that I don't think any of these other quarterbacks are our answer long
that
term.
are, that are coming out,
Yeah,
but you
that's what
hate
I'm
to be
scared of.
forced into a quarterback. You hate to be
Mhm.
forced into a quarterback just because you need the position and you're in a position to draft one does not mean you have to.
Right.
Don't get
Right.
pigeonholed. Don't get
Right.
pigeonholed. Such a franchise
I
back.
feel like Tepper's gonna push him to get one, and we're gonna be stuck with Will Levis,
Yeah.
who just is another Matt Corral. They're just gonna be looking at each other on the practice field like I do
Yeah.
the same thing you do.
Yeah. It's a Spider-Man meme. You know we love that around here, but
Yeah, and that's
uh
another thing. We might have to kick the tires on Matt. We spent a third round draft pick on Matt Corral. Do we not see what he can do? I mean,
I
we're
think
not
you
going to
have to,
be
yeah.
contenders again next year. We're going to have a new coach and a new system.
Yeah. Yeah. At least you should at least see what you have in Matt Corral.
That's not the recipe historically to draft a first round quarterback and throw him into.
Touche. Touche. Yeah. Yeah. No, situation is everything for rookies, especially
Yes.
like depending on their ability. But yeah, you're right, man.
Yep.
But what'd you think about this week 13 action, man?
I enjoyed it, man. Got to watch some. My team was on a bye, so I just got to turn it on the old red zone and just kick back and enjoy 7 hours commercial free football. Um, but we start Thursday night. Bills beat the Patriots. in division rumble. Josh Allen, 22 for 33, 223 yards and 2 touchdowns. His
Right.
counterpart, Mac Jones, pretty similar numbers, just not as effective. 22 for 36, 195 yards and a touch.
Mac Jones apparently wanted to pass more, but did actually attempt 36 passes and only managed those 195 yards. So I don't know, Mac. Maybe you need to be a little bit more productive. Meanwhile, he didn't want to run the ball, and Ramondre on 10 attempts did average 5.4 yards per carry. I so I don't know, man.
Numbers
I
don't
don't
lie, Mac.
I don't know.
Also, who you yelling at, Patricia? That's a big dude. Better watch your tone. Take the bass out your voice.
He's feeling himself in a little bit like I guess he realizes he's an adult and is a quarterback,
Yeah.
so that will give him a little bit of rope to not get his ass whipped.
Right.
You know,
I mean, do you lose all credibility forever with your team and the public and the media if your offensive coordinator beats you up and you have to go do a press conference with a black eye?
yeah. There's no way. They just have to. They got to put you on waivers after that. There's no way you come back into the locker room. No way. I mean, you got to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So
we've all seen Matt Patricia's hands, man. I wouldn't want to catch one of those to the eyepiece.
You know that man's Super Bowl ring size is large. Okay.
He wears them all the time too.
That he definitely does. Another week, man, another opportunity for New England to show they need wide receivers, Drew. I think we say this every single week, man.
Yeah, which is funny because they always seem to be the island of broken receivers. And every now and then they'll fix one.
Yeah.
But they just have not been able to do that.
Draft them especially.
Yeah.
Or get them in houses since Randy, I think, right? Yeah. Like they haven't really had a good free agent wide receiver.
It looked like they were going to turn around Bird, but then he just kind of died out too when he didn't have Newton throwing to him.
Yeah, and then I mean, for Buffalo, I mean, we have to talk about the strong team in Buffalo. They're just showing that they can win in multiple ways. That's what I took away from it.
Win dirty, win big, win close. Like, yeah. Now, number 1 seed in the AFC.
Looking strong, but not as strong as the team that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I know you're not talking about the Green Bay Packers. They do still own the Bears, but
they do.
In this weird season, they become the winningest franchise with that win over the Bears.
So. Yeah, they've been around the longest, right. Technically. So they kept talking about that. And I'm like, damn, how much time did y'all spend on the production meeting on this stat here? Like, how many times are you going to mention it? But they pulled it out, man. Justin Fields played better than I thought he was going to play, which is why I did not start his ass in fantasy, and I should have. Yeah, you didn't need it. You didn't need it. This man scored 170 points in fantasy. Yeah. He had the perfect lineup. Perfect lineup.
And even my defense let me down. Patriots or Bills. I had the Bills because I have both those defense, and I picked one, and the Bills only scored a couple points. But what can you do? But you will notice the Packers, with a win, had 175 rushing yards as a team.
Yeah, that's what they want. I think it might be a little bit too late for that, Drew.
Right. Hey, we figured it out, Mike, bro. It's week 13.
Yeah. Season's almost over, man. But good for them. They can make it interesting though. Whoever they play, they still are they done with the Vikings, or is that game coming up? So yeah, we'll definitely have to look at that toward the back half. The NFL probably put that on. They did, Drew. I think you confirmed it. So week 17. Week 17.
Which Shawn alluded to it just now. We'll talk about it. You'll see a theme here later on in some segments. A lot of 5-win teams that are not that far out of the playoffs. So Green Bay being one of them. So stay tuned for more on that. But the reason the Packs are struggling to make it into the playoffs, the Vikings get at 10 wins. 10 wins in week 13. Beat the Jets. Kirk Cousins 21 for 35, 173 yards and a touchdown. Cook added 86 yards on the ground and a touchdown. They shut down Jefferson for the most part. He had a touchdown, only 45 yards, but they were able to win elsewhere.
Man, for Minnesota, their defense, they let the Jets back in the game, but they seriously tightened it up inside the red zone. I mean, how many times did they stop the New York Jet offense and cause them to kick field goals? I mean, Greg Zuerlein was on the field all day kicking field goals. So imagine if they converted a couple of those. I don't even think this is a game. So this is another one of those games where it feels like there had to be a loser, but the Jets in their probable season that they've gotten to this point, they are strong, bro. They are strong.
Yeah. I was watching May play for the Saints last night, and I was like, man, if he was on that defense too, on top of the Jets,
right? Oof. Right? Yeah, and the safety play that they've had hasn't been bad. I mean, Jordan Whitehead, he's been a good free agent addition to them. He popped the shit out of Jefferson too. Legal hit. Okay, and to Jefferson's credit, he held on to the ball, got right back up, took that shot. So, Drew, Mike White threw the ball 57 times, man.
57 times.
It's no wonder he had 2 picks, and one was early.
I mean, good for him for only having 2 picks. How many would Wilson have had? 4? We've seen that before.
If not many, he would have had a meltdown in this game. Trying to keep up, he would have had a meltdown. So Mike White continuing to do his thing.
I love the whole team showed up wearing Mike effing White t-shirts.
Man, what do you do? Did Zach Wilson wear a Mike effing White t-shirt? That's
whose mom on the team? Because we know about Zach Wilson and moms. Whose mom did he sleep with on the team? Who'd he pissed off? Was it Salah? It seems like Salah.
It could have been. It could have been. But I love the Mike White story, man. But they just come up short. But they had ops. But again,
they played a good
Minnesota defense.
Yeah. Let's do a quick NFC East check-in, seeing as how it looks like the strongest division in the league.
It really does. Yeah.
Washington Giants played so hard, they went to a tie.
They did, man. And I think, Drew, for these two teams who look like they are on the bottom right now, clearly with the other two teams in the division, but these two teams, if they want to be taken seriously, in my opinion, they have to consistently score more than 20 points, which is what got them to tie.
With extra time.
Yeah.
And because you're right on the other end, the Cowboys absolutely destroy the Colts.
Yeah.
Decimate the Colts.
They did. In the fourth quarter.
33, what they do, 33 unanswered in the fourth?
I think it was. Yeah. And just defense, offense, running game, passing game. It all came apart for the Colts. And man, I think, Drew, did we not talk about this last week that the shine was probably coming off Jeff Saturday? And
he was leaning on those coaches, and those coaches were proving why they picked an outsider to be the interim coach anyway,
Yeah, man. Yeah. I saw, maybe, I don't know at what point in the game it was, but I did see a picture or a clip of Saturday, and he looked about as defeated as the score indicated.
Dude, I'm kind of pumped about it because I saw a fan like a fan fiction almost, like a what could be. Go ahead and get your teeth kicked in, Jeff Saturday, in the NFL. Learn some things. And then go be the UNC coach after Mac Brown.
Oh, that could be. Yeah.
So and I'm okay with that.
Recruiting.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. And then also the other NFC East, the Eagles, just the AJ Brown revenge game.
It was destroyed. It was ugly.
Yeah.
Man.
My man was making every catch. You put it anywhere near him, he's like, "Thank you."
Yeah, I think at that point, what if I have a game like that against my former team or anybody who I have a vendetta against, at that point,
I love that word so much.
It's a good word. This is a good word show. I'm going over to the other sideline and I'm just shaking their hands. I'm looking them dead in the eye. And just shaking their hands. Yep.
Took your soul today.
Because you know what just happened to you. You know what just happened to you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I was a chirper when I played hockey. I was a chirper. 49ers cruise past the Dolphins with the backup quarterback. Oh, Brock Purdy. What a great quarterback name. Brock Purdy.
It's a pretty good name.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good name. It's a lot you can do with it.
I see what you did there.
Right. It's a pretty good name.
25 for 37, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Doesn't that sound like what Garoppolo would have done?
It does. We don't know when you don't know what we're going to get with Garoppolo, but we gotta.
I mean, Garoppolo on a good day.
Well, those numbers are Garoppolo. That's the thing is with Garoppolo's record, we all know sort of what we're getting with Jimmy Garoppolo, but on the good end of that spectrum, what we know we're going to get kind of is a win because his record is what his record is, you know. So how you get there, it's Shanahan. He puts him in the best position to win, and I think that's getting back to your point. I think that's what happened with Purdy, like. And I wrote it down. Like Garoppolo went down, and I think that Miami had no idea what was coming, like what they had prepared for. Yeah. It was an unknown, and in that moment, I think Shanahan and his oddball way of thinking had complete control of the game, and then
a quarterback that knew how to execute his game plan.
Exactly, and did what he was supposed to do. So I think that it was San Fran from the outset.
Christian McCaffrey, my dude.
Yeah, and it wasn't really the pass. Obviously, it wasn't a pass game, but Debo strong. Ayuk had some strong plays. And Purdy threw that pick, and it was an ugly one. He was under pressure. But what I love about this game, Drew, is the defense. Both defenses in this,
because the Dolphins, the defense got the Dolphins to throw 3 picks themselves between Tua and Skyler.
Yeah, and what I loved specifically about the really both defenses is a defensive line play because obviously Jimmy Garoppolo went down. They put Purdy under pressure. And for on the opposite line, Tua was under duress all day. And as soon as he was, Drew, that accuracy went out the window.
Yep.
You know?
That's Tua. Tua going Tua sometimes.
He definitely came crashing back down to earth. But this was a good game.
I love how the 49ers kept all of their old former running backs just to 33 yards.
I mean, I guess they should know how to stop them.
Yeah, we know where to go.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah.
Similar, and the coaching tree doesn't help either. That they were all coaching together, so they have to know plays, or at least like Shanahan holds all the cards. Or at least that's what it looks like at this point right now.
Yeah,
maybe a Super Bowl matchup.
Oh, that'd be cool. I'll be cool with that.
Yeah.
A team that looks poised for a playoff run. Bengals get one on the Chiefs. It's their 3rd straight against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Burrow 25 for 31, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mahomes only threw the ball 27 times.
It was all he needed to do. Man. I loved the way that Andy Reid decided to use those running backs this game.
I love Pacheco, man. Love watching his come up.
He came ready to play, and McKinnon looked like he is hungry for something.
Yeah,
he looks like he is hungry for something.
They're like, no Edwards-Helaire, we're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
I feel like if he doesn't have a contract for next year, he's playing for his next contract, and I would love.
I'd keep them all. That
dude on my team.
Nah, keep them all. Chiefs ain't let none of them go.
Yep. Hey, like what was interesting, Drew, and I know you had to notice this too, but Kelsey did not have his first reception until the 3rd quarter.
It hurt my feelings. Yeah. Hurt my heart. Because he's on my other fantasy team. So I'm sitting there like, what are you doing?
Does it happen?
What are you doing, bro?
So whatever the Bengals did to cover Travis Kelsey and really them doing that threw their whole offense off. I mean, the Chiefs only scored 24 points when it's all said and done. So I think if Travis Kelsey gets off, then everything's an option for the Chiefs.
Yep.
You know? And one last point before we move on, Drew. I like Nick Bolton has been that dude this season, but whatever Zach Taylor and the Bengals, they went right at him and right at the middle of the field this game.
Yeah.
I noticed that. Right in the
It
middle
hurt.
of that
It
Kansas City
sucked.
defense.
Hurst got hurt because he was doing pretty good.
Yeah, and it forced Bolton to be on his P's and Q's all day long and having to make the right decision. In this game, he wasn't making those plays, so they went at him a lot. So I thought that was interesting.
Nice, I like it, man.
Yeah.
Well, last game, Brady somehow dipped into his hat, deck of cards, whatever. I don't know, man, but scored 14 points. What with 3 minutes?
Like
3 minutes,
3 minutes
ago.
ago. Drew 0.7 chance to win the game.
0.7?
0.7.
God,
0.7. Yeah,
man.
with 3 chances.
And
well,
how you feeling? Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I wanted to play a little FIFA, so I cut the game off, and then after I get done with my little FIFA game, I turn back on,
right.
And Brady's just at the podium, like, I mean,
that's how we all felt, man. I mean, there's no way the Bucs should have won this game. The Saints had us dead to rights, and really, when you look at it, and Mark Ingram has apologized since then, but him going out of bounds when he hurt his knee early and not getting that first down largely allowed Brady to have the time to come back. Yeah. Brady still had to do it.
Never give him time, dude. You'd never give
him coaching. Yeah. It's coaching with the Bucs, man. It's coaching. They have been holding this team back, not letting them operate the way they should early on in games. It's throwing the rhythm off. And the defense, again, like they give up untimely plays. And when you look at it, for as boring as the game was for 3.5 quarters, they only gave up 16 points. So it's like, well, you do all these things, but they don't make any turnovers. You see a turnover from the Bucs defense in a couple weeks? I haven't. I don't know where they are. This is the problem. So I think with that and just kind of getting by and the offense not taking advantage, the offense can't take advantage because it's the coaching holding back these skilled receivers. Mike Evans, he's been a ghost, man. Like Mike Evans has been a ghost. Yeah, that guy, Mike Evans.
Are you hoping they clean house?
I am. Yeah, I really am. And you know what? I had this thought earlier today that just kind of playing a little prediction here, looking into the future. But if the Saints do fire defensive coordinator, now turned head coach Dennis Allen, come on down to Tampa because we want to clean house anyway. So if we clean house, we no longer have a defensive coordinator. Come in to be the defensive coordinator at least. Whoever the next coach is, it needs to be an offensive coach. But hire Dennis Allen as your defensive coordinator because you've seen what he's done with that Saints defense. I mean, the Saints defense still held that team 3 points before the final 3 minutes of the game, and then they gave it up.
Yeah, because their offense couldn't stay on the field.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, let's get through some housekeeping notes. Got some fun rumblings around the league. Cowboys now the favorite to land Odell Beckham Jr., but the word is he probably won't play till mid-January.
Oh, that's
interesting. Is he even going to be a factor?
How much? If he doesn't come back until January, I'm very curious to see what the contract will be because.
And what does that chemistry look like?
What does the chemistry look like? But I guess getting back to my point before I'll let you speak on it.
Oh yeah.
If he comes in with the contract and only plays in January, his dollar per reception or play will be astronomical.
Yeah,
astronomical.
It's going to be super fun to see how they finagle this contract. I'm very intrigued on this.
Yeah. And at that point, man, like I would rather roll with the guys that I have instead of, we talked about this having that Kyrie Irving situation come back, that Duke 2010 situation or 2011 situation. You
can never count out chemistry, and an offense is such a flowing thing. Let me just listen to me turning into Bill Walton over here. The offense is like a flowy, universal thing, man. You don't want to disturb it, man.
Yeah.
I had to listen to the whole Carolina game with that dude, and I wanted to blow my brains out.
I can't stand him as a commentator.
Yeah. The Cowboys gets better for him. Get Pro Bowl left tackle Tyrone Smith back at practice today.
Oh, that's good. That's good for them. And I guess to your point about OBJ, man, is I'm not surprised that that's who he's choosing, because once all the smoke clears, it looks like of the teams that need his services, they are the strongest team.
Yeah, I mean, what's the
So,
point in going to the Giants if they're struggling to get into the playoffs by then?
right. Yeah, you don't, he's not coming back for that. He's strictly ring chasing and he's in a position to do so. So,
Yeah. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson avoids serious knee injury. He is dealing with a PCL strain, and he is week to week, probably out 1-3.
Tyler Huntley looked good, though, didn't he?
He got it done. Got it done.
Yeah. I like it.
Give him a chance. Let him shine.
Come on down.
Dolphins signed veteran offensive lineman Eric Fisher as they put their offensive tackle Austin Jackson on IR.
That's a good pickup for them. It's hard to find what could be his talent this late in the year for offensive line when everybody's looking for it. But I say all that to say he still was on the street and nobody picked his ass up until this point.
He didn't have an impressive run with the Colts.
Right. So, maybe he had a gap year.
Yeah. Bengals tight end Hayden Hurst out week 14 with a calf injury. That's what he left the game early with.
Okay. All right. Be back.
Panthers release quarterback Baker Mayfield.
Man, how you feeling, Drew? You got to talk. You got to speak on this, man.
I mean, I'm good. Go ahead and get. He wasn't the future. He wasn't the now. So why string him along? He asked for his release. If you're not going to play, I'm all for it. If you're not going to play me, let me go.
Yeah.
Especially he's a dude where he, by all accounts, was a great teammate in Carolina. Nothing, not Baker bashing at all.
Yeah.
But you don't want him to sit there and turn.
Yeah, and he looked like a great teammate from what I could see on the sidelines.
Played defense at practice.
Stuff. Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see what next, what the future. I hope he goes to XFL and just destroys
it. CFL Baker.
Yeah, I would love it, man. 49ers Jimmy G broken foot on season-ending IR and had surgery. 49ers signed Josh Johnson to his third stint with the team.
Josh Johnson still in the league, baby. Still in the league. Man, collecting them checks. Smart guy, smart QB.
He was hanging out on Denver's practice squad. Which
the checks.
Play him over Russ. Jesus.
Yeah. Coming, after Josh Johnson is finally done, come into a community near you. That man is going to be just a master class on how to stay in the league, man. I love it.
Lions wide receiver Jameson Williams got on the field first time this year. Only had one target, no receptions, but hey, he was out there.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Titans fired general manager John Robinson after man, AJ Brown got my man fired. He came back and was like, "You see what you missed out on?" And the Titans were like, "We do. You're fired."
I did not know that. John Robinson from the Jason Light Tree School of Management gets fired by the Titans. I could see him coming back to the Buck staff.
What was he in player personnel?
He was before John Spytek. It was John Robinson, and then John Robinson got that job at the Titans and made some good moves. Mm-hmm. Obviously, some dumb ones too. And so I didn't see that coming, but I didn't see it coming when it happened. But it makes sense.
Yeah, I just love that it was this week. And then finally, Packers GM Brian, I can never say his last name, Gutekunst, says that, of course, we want Rodgers back next season. Apparently, that was brought up in a press conference. What's the man supposed to say? Nah. Yeah. Good.
That's man. Speaking of what you're supposed to say and like how you're supposed to look, I'm just thinking about this whole John Robinson situation. Like I could just see like the owners being in the box and him being up there too, and him look like, no, if you ball out, just like from across the box, you know what I'm saying? Just like looking at him and being like,
I could just see the owners sitting back and like just mumbling under their breath to Robinson and being like, if AJ Brown scores one more time, clear out your desk.
You are done. You are
Touchdown,
done.
AJ Brown.
Matter of fact, when it comes to, and you've seen like the Billions, that show, or like what's the show on HBO
Succession.
that everybody loves, Succession.
Yeah.
When it comes to that type of money, they don't hide it. They probably just tell you that shit to your face. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to that, they don't care. It's millions and millions of dollars on the line. So
it's
just
business.
like, hey, if he scores 37 fantasy points, you are done. Okay.
Yeah.
I at least I booked you a ticket, you know.
Yeah.
Coach.
Got some 3 and out for you. Shawn, you want first down? Or you want me to take this week?
Let me pull up my pull up. I just turned the page. That's all I did.
Turn the page.
3 and out, but yes. I think you're gonna like these 3 and out questions that I have for you. So I'm gonna start with what we went over last week. And last week, if you didn't go back and make sure you like and subscribe, continuation question, obviously. But I asked Drew, what think about a Super Bowl team and what would be the reason, not a non-quarterback reason, that team would win the Super Bowl. And he said Travis Kelce. So following that up, Drew, think about last week's question and answer, Travis Kelce. Now, what I want you to do is think about your other Super Bowl team. What will be the one reason that team will stop the X factor that you chose last week, Travis Kelce, and give them the best reason to win the Super Bowl in 2022?
That's a good question, man, because what X factor player on your defense can cover this man? Who's got the speed, who's got the size that can roll with him? Because then now you think, who's going to be there from the NFC? Is it going to be the Eagles? Is it going to be the Vikings? I don't know. So let's look at the Eagles depth chart. See who on that defense can cover Travis Kelce.
Okay.
And I think they have a decent candidate in there with Hassan Reddick.
Okay. Yeah.
I think with some safety help, they can use him to eliminate a lot of those middle drop passes that him and Mahomes does. Because they also got TJ Edwards there, Nakobe Dean in the middle.
The rookie,
So I just love Darius Slay will probably man up and be like, nah, he's mine.
Yeah, I can see them using a dual approach, but that's interesting that you say Reddick though, because like
he's usually a pass rusher, but he can also drop back into coverage. And I got to see that in Carolina, you know, and he can body up. He's one of the few people on that field that can body up Kelce. And I think he's deceptively fast.
I think you're right. If they do use Hassan Reddick in certain situations for that, then I think they will give him safety help. And I want 2 bodies on Kelce if I can have it, you know, just to slow that man down. So good answer.
Because you can play man to man with everybody else, just double up. The problem is if you double up Kelce, you probably leaving Mahomes with no spy to just do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, so. Which is a part of his game. It is a part of his game.
Right. So,
yeah.
So that'll be interesting
on second.
For sure.
It will be. It will be. Curious to see what you got on second down, bro.
I'm excited about this one, man. So I'm going to throw a lot of numbers at you, but hang with me here.
Right.
Right now, as we speak, 7 wins gets you in the playoffs in the NFC.
Ooh, yeah. Well, yes. Okay.
6 wins get you in the AFC.
Oh, really?
The 7th seed has got 6 wins.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah. There are 6 5-win teams. 3 in the AFC, 3 in the NFC.
Right.
Out of these 6 teams, who's most likely to squeak in the playoffs? In the AFC, we got Raiders, Browns, Steelers. And then the NFC, we have Lions, Falcons, and Packers.
Man. Oh. Okay. So I'm gonna go NFC first because they are fresh on my mind. And if out of those three teams that you gave me, Drew, if it is in an NFC, and I know this is a saucy pick, but I'm going with the Lions on this
Yes.
one. I'm
Yes.
going
Yes. Yes.
they look very strong these last
Sitting in
couple
that
of
ninth
weeks.
seed, just 2 games
And
back of Washington or
Jared Goff is
Seattle.
he's playing some ball, man. That dude is playing some ball right now. And I like it seems I don't want to just, put a blanket over it and say that they're dumbing things down, but they really look like they've gotten back to basics and doing what they do
Swift's
well.
healthy.
Twist healthy,
St.
Amon St.
Brown's
Brown is healthy. Yeah, so their
Williams still that
offense
goal line rusher.
and the defense is doing a hell of a lot better than they were at the beginning of the season. So
Yes.
they're keeping the teams in games. So I like the Lions out of that. And in the AFC, you said the Raiders, Browns, and Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And I am mistaken. 7 wins is the AFC as well.
Okay.
The seventh seed Jets are at 7-5.
That's right. That's right. But out of those teams that are right there, if I had to pick out of those three teams, I
You
I don't
jumping back on the Raiders? They're a little
I
hot.
gotta jump on the Raiders, man. I gotta jump on the Raiders because that's what I'm thinking of. Like, I don't think something tells me that the way that Deshaun Watson looked on Sunday, that they ain't gonna have enough in time. And Pittsburgh
I
is
hope he maintains that same energy the whole year.
he probably will. 700 days.
Yeah.
There's reasons for that, if not more. But Pittsburgh, they are also a saucy team, but right now they're in the bottom spot of those teams, and I don't think that they can overcome it because we know. I think for as much as we don't know what you're going to get week to week from Pittsburgh, I think we know what they are as a whole, as a team. So with the Raiders, man, if they can just keep doing what they're doing, man, it'll be them.
The Steelers also have to play Ravens twice, Raiders, and Browns to end the year. So look at that. They all play each other.
Yep. and so basically if the Steelers won it, they're gonna have to earn it. And if they earn it, then they earned it. I mean, that's there's no other way to put that, man. So all right, Drew. So that leads us into third down. And I asked this question because I saw Kirk Cousins just stand in the pocket, knowing that he was going to get absolutely obliterated by these 300-pound men coming at him at warp speed, and deliver the football on time and make some dimes. And he had to do it. So that's my question to you is what is your favorite type of play that you have to do something in that moment and make it happen?
I love when a receiver just straight up lays out on the sidelines, like no matter what it takes, they're like, these 2 feet are glued in bounds and I'm just going to fall until I catch this ball. That's my favorite.
It is one of the prettier plays.
Yeah. When it's just a slow, just.
Yep.
I love
it. It's like a domino.
Yeah.
And then like, it almost like exponentially slows it down when they're falling in slow motion and then they do the replay.
Yeah.
From
like a edge of my seat standpoint, though, I love when the defensive back is battling on the way down with the receiver and then at the last minute knocks the ball out.
Just like,
you're just like,
damn, incomplete.
Love it. I love it. Or if it's your team, you're like,
Yep.
So I love that field too, man.
And then shout out to the NFL for actually doing that. But there's so many angles that they give us, which has led to common sense football. Like we can all see it at home, refs. That's why you have to get it right because we're all watching.
Right. And now you get the chance to look at it multiple times too.
Thank you.
You get it right.
Common sense football.
I love when the refs on the field let the play go, knowing like we can look at it. It's fine. Just let it play out.
Right. It's on their side.
Yeah.
All
right, fourth down. We're going for it. If the playoffs started today, I'm going to give you the AFC matchups in the first round. So you tell me which team is on upset alert the most.
Okay. All right.
Is it the higher seed Titans against the Bengals? the higher seed Ravens against the Dolphins, or the higher seed Chiefs against the Jets?
Oof. I like the Jets have big stones, but I can't. Those stones ain't that big. They're
Not
not
yet.
that big right
They
now.
ain't there.
They're gonna have to prove it to me. So that leaves the other two teams, and they are true. Those are some good candidates. This is a good question.
Good matchups.
This is a good question. I would have to say, oh man, I think that, oh man, I like when you said the first team, when you said who was it?
Titans
The
versus
Titans
Bengals.
versus the Bengals, because the Bengals, in my opinion, are the hottest team right now. Like they're the most clutch team and have a path to the number one seed. But I digress. When you said that, I thought it was easy Bengals. But the way that Miami in that loss, even in the loss, shown me they like what they have shown me, especially if they can keep Tua upright. Ravens going to have to be on the lookout, especially if Lamar is a little bit banged up.
Yeah.
And the way that Miami can deliver the football to a bevy of skill position receivers and running backs, gotta go Miami.
It's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. What do you think? Let me ask you. What do you think?
I think it's I think there's no way out of those matchups. I feel like there's no way the Titans beat the Bengals with the way they're playing right now.
The way they're playing, yeah. I think it's the easy. So I would say both of them, but if I had to choose one, I'm going with Miami.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Like I said, I want the Dolphins to somehow finagle it to where they play the Bengals because I want that first round.
I would want it early. But I would also want it in the championship game too.
However we get it, I would. I just worry if we don't get it first round, we don't get it at all.
That's true. I'd rather have it than not.
I like the sure thing. I like those first round matchups to just be fantastic, and that way they just keep getting better. I love when you're like, I didn't know I needed this matchup, but I'm glad we got it. Mm-hmm. Like I love those type of games.
Yeah.
All right, who you shouting out this week?
All right, man. Look, I think I alluded to it earlier, but I gotta shout the boy Kirk Cousins, man. Like the way that he stood in that pocket, man, and just like he delivered some dimes down the field. He got absolutely crushed by I want to say it was Nathan Shepard or Quentin Williams. I mean, they were getting after Kirk, and he made some plays. He took some shots. Kirk was running. Kirk he's shown me a little something, man. Like,
I hope that's his ringtone.
I think it probably is, knowing how corny that dude is. He's number 2 corny aside from Russell Wilson. But I think that the team having so much confidence in Kirk Cousins is making Kirk Cousins be the best version of himself. So I think that's where he is, and
propping that dude up.
He's so confident right now that he can't do any wrong. So moving along to this next person, shout out the boy Joey Bosa, man. Or excuse me, Nick Bosa, little brother Nick Bosa. I ain't even mean to do that on the shout out. Got to shout out Nick. 3 sacks from Nick Bosa. Yeah, gotta shout out Nick Bosa on the that's what I wrote down. I wrote down Joey, but I meant Nick. But 3 sacks, and that defensive line was all over Tua, man. They were all over him. So, and they were timely too. I think he had a tackle for loss. You know what I'm saying? Like that strip sack really kind of put it away. This next person, honestly, I don't know if I've done this yet, but the comeback king, Mr. Tom Brady himself, man. He is the reason that we won that game.
He could not stop grinning at the podium, man. Just that shit-eating grin.
He knows that he pulled one out, and it was him. I have to give it to him because the coaches did that man no favors. Ran tempo. It was actually him, and I saw this circulating too before I move on to this last person, but I saw this circulating too where Brady was the one who wanted Lenny subbed out for Rachaad White on that last play of the game. He came over and was like, nah, give me Rachaad White on this play. And like you could read the lips and stuff like that. So is Brady really putting the team in position to win? Especially,
I think he'd never want to be a coach after all this.
I don't think he wanted a headache.
Yeah, that's fair.
If for as great as that man looks right now, we can really see his true age show on his face if he started coaching in the NFL.
Yeah. So, and why he has no need to whatsoever.
And lastly, shout out Greg Zuerlein. He was on the field all day, man. I think that we talked about this a little earlier, man. He had like 4 field goals in the first half and just kept the team in the game. enough to be able to try to make the comeback for the Jets, and ultimately they fell a little bit short. But
he was trying. What do you have? 5 of them? 6 of
them? Yeah. I think at least I think 5 or 6.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So shout to those boys, man.
Look at that guy. Look at that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you said we got a very fun Just the Stats, man.
I do. All right, so here we go. So if we're talking Just the Stats, I'm going to give you 2 games, and I want to give you some stats. Clearly, the quarterback stats will speak for themselves. However, I want you to pick who would be your MVP of this game based on the stats that I give you. So, game number one. This person's stats was 22 of 33 for 287 yards, 3 TDs, or this next player who went 16 of 28, 302 yards, 1 TD, 1 INT, 7 rushing attempts for 62 yards and a TD. Or option number 3, because I like my options, this person who had 19 rushing attempts for 110 yards and 1 TD.
I'm going to go the 302 yards and a rushing TD.
Okay. So you chose Colin Kaepernick as your MVP of that game. You chose Colin Kaepernick.
That's hilarious.
Over Joe Flacco, who was the actual MVP of that game.
Flacco.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy.
You chose Colin Kaepernick over Joe Flacco.
Made so much money off that game.
Yes, he did.
Who was the running back?
Frank Gore.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Frank Gore. All right, so last game. Who is your MVP? Is it this player? 11 receptions for 133 yards and no touchdowns. Or this player who went 30 of 51, 357 yards, 3 TDs, 3 interceptions. Or this player who had 9 receptions, 422 yards. Who is your MVP? Right? Right?
None of them. Nobody gets it.
Somebody got to get it.
I guess I'll go the first wide receiver.
That was the MVP. It was Deion Branch.
Yeah, Deion Branch.
Deion Branch.
Brady threw 3 picks.
McNabb threw 3 picks. Donovan McNabb threw 3 picks. But this would no context matters, which is why we like doing this show. The person who you didn't pick, Terrell Owens. That was that Super Bowl. So he went 9 for 122 on a broken ankle. That's my MVP. If context matters, that's going to be my MVP. But
I would have given it to him on the broken ankle for sure.
Yeah, right. They should have, and that's why I wanted to do Super Bowls, because I often feel like they don't give it to the person who actually should win it.
Well, I mean, the last few years they just give it to the quarterback of the team that won.
Right. So that's all it is. So they actually should pick the MVP. But so there you have it.
Nice. That was good. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. What matchup you got for week 14? Let's get the folks ready for this coming up week.
There was not a lot of matchup to choose from, so I took what I think is going to be
the
red
zone week, folks. It's a red zone week. Just watch the highlights. Just the highlights, man.
We've got to go with the most intriguing matchup as well, and that's got to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the San Francisco 49ers. Tom Brady going to California. I believe this is going to be
Brock Purdy.
I believe. Now, if Jimmy Garoppolo was playing in this game, I think it's Niners all the way. But weirdly enough, I think if the Buccaneers can get a little bit healthier during the week, I actually think they match up well with them. The only thing that I don't know is how Kyle Shanahan is going to scheme his team to be in great positions. And I think I think that's what Bowles will. Obviously, that's what he has to figure out. But I don't know if he can. You know what I'm saying?
Like, can he do that?
Because Shanahan just puts his players in position. So all the trickeration, all the movement is going to be the puzzle that Bowles has to solve. I know Brady's up to the task. They've got to get Mike Evans the ball. They've got to,
especially in the red zone.
They're clearly getting Godwin involved. They're trying to force the ball to Julio. Rachaad White's still there. I know that the San Francisco offense will be ready to play. Like, I know, really, like, I kind of negate Christian McCaffrey because the Bucs have actually had Christian McCaffrey's number, albeit in a different situation.
He got a better O-line.
Right. So, but even when he was kind of doing this thing, they know his game. So I feel like they'll be good there. What I don't know is
hone in on CMC and also take into account Ayuk and Debo.
And that's going to be the question. That's going to be the question. I put it on Twitter a little bit earlier, but like the Bucs have the talent, especially if they can get a little healthy, to kind of match up with this team. But they have to be disciplined. And I just don't think that this Bucs team right now can be disciplined enough for 4 quarters in order to win the game. And that's what I think it's going to come down to. If they can, they've got a shot, especially if they can stymie Brock Purdy. That's, I think, the great equalizer is because Bowles is not going to let a rookie quarterback, 7th-round pick, as good as he was in college at Iowa State, be on this showcase and just dice him up. I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm curious to see how it works out. Bucs offense got to figure it out. They haven't at this point. I don't feel like they will. So as long as it's low scoring, they've got a shot. But if it's not, bro, it's going to be a long day for Tampa.
It's going to be a long day. That's fair.
Yeah.
My matchup of the week, like you said, not a lot to choose from, but this one is as close to playoff implications as we can get, I think.
Yeah.
It's the Minnesota Vikings at Detroit Lions. Vikings look pretty close to locking up the division. Like we said earlier, the Lions are 9th in the AFC, only 2 games back of the Seahawks in that last playoff spot.
I mean, they gotta
put
on their horses, man.
2 games.
2
games. What? 2 games, 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Drew, this is, I mean, the way that they have been playing, you have to give Detroit at least a puncher's chance to win this game, man.
Yeah. Because the Lions looked amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They've been on a run. And if we know anything, it's if you're going to tell me a good team is playing a team on a run this part of the year, I'm going to pick the team that's on the run.
Yeah. And, I think Detroit's at home. It's at Ford Field.
Yeah.
So, if they get that place rocking, it could, it could spell doom for the Vikings. I hope that the defensive line for Detroit continues to show up and put pressure on Kirk, because I think that's when you get the erratic Kirk potentially. So,
dude, I hope we get one of those things where Aiden Hutchinson just loves playing in Detroit and just stays there, and they actually can build a team around him. Because that dude just is Michigan, just
through and through.
Yeah.
Keep
the guy,
Yeah, and he seems like he is that guy, but he's from there. He went to Michigan. Yeah. Like he's a Detroit, Michigan guy through and through. So I think they have the perfect recipe for him to be that 12-year defensive end
contract. Yeah, just go ahead and throw some money at him. You'll figure it out.
Yep,
figure it out.
Face of the franchise, really.
Yeah, for years.
Yep.
But no, I think it's going to be a fun matchup. I hope it's a shootout. Both have good offensive players, weapons. It's Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins. So
Drew, speaking
for the best.
Speaking of shootouts, I'll put you on the spot here a little bit, but like, give me your final score. What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
I'm hoping it's like 38-35.
Yeah,
and it could go either way.
I'm getting high scoring from the field that I have right now.
There's defenses aren't going to watch. It's going to be 6-3. Like, man,
what a turnaround for Detroit's defense though. If they can hold that,
and Minnesota
6 points. Yeah, but both defenses have been playing good though. like recently too. So this won't be a good one, man. It's gonna be a good one.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Out of not many matchups to be excited about.
I don't know.
Man, reluctantly, let's do these locks because I fell apart last week, my guy.
Yeah, I didn't even know until you said it pre-production,
0-2 last week. The Chargers did not beat Vegas, and the 49ers did not lose. When Garoppolo went out, I was like, oh, this is in the bag.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nope.
What do you think?
You picked the Bucs to beat the Saints, and then you got our first tie of the year. So I am now back at 500, 13-13. And you are 18-7-1.
Ooh, looking strong with a K.
Yeah.
And one.
So you run this segment now. So you just tell me.
Man, I guess we gotta go winner. And this is because I was talking to my cousin earlier, he was a Panthers fan, who was definitely saying all they had to do was win this week. And I am here to let you know that you're not winning. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks over the Carolina Panthers. Seattle is at home, sir. It ain't happening. I'm sorry. Like this Panthers team is not winning in Seattle. I don't care if they beat Denver and are coming off a bye. It ain't happening. I just don't see it, man. I'm sorry.
Well, we got a good old fashioned lock off. Because I got the Panthers going in Seattle and getting the dub.
Wow.
I wore the hat and everything.
I will say this. If we're talking about history and, my 18-7 versus your 13-13, lock-offs have not been your forte this season.
Hey, I'm 1-2. I got the one on you. It's fine.
So,
we went 1-1 that week. We both picked the same
so
thing.
You can either get back to 500 in that
or just dig deeper.
You could bury it.
Why not?
Get buried. Yeah.
Why not? What I got to lose at this point?
There you go.
5.5 games back. Got to take some chances here. All right. Well, who you got losing this week?
Losing this week, man. A lot of easy losses I feel like to pick this week. So I'm going with one of the better games, and maybe this is an easy pick, but I gotta go with the Giants losing. I think it's like 3 weeks in a row, but like I've been close on all of them. Like the Giants have
get another time, my dude.
Yeah, they have another opportunity. But they're going up against that Eagles team. I think the Eagles team is they're flying too high right now, and they're looking strong. So gotta go with the Giants.
Does that do it in for the Giants?
At 7-5-1 mathematically, with this NFC. But for their confidence,
morally speaking,
for their confidence, definitely, I can see that.
All right. Well, I got the Rams losing to Vegas. I think Vegas is going to keep strolling. Yeah. I don't see Wolford beating
Wolf.
I need Carr to have a good week. So I'm kind of manifesting this, I guess, in my locks. So.
Do you think the Raiders resurgence is just like a victim or basically based on their schedule and the teams that they're playing?
By all means.
More so than it's actually them?
That and a big old chunk of Devontae's there somewhere.
Yeah.
Because my man is
YOLO throws. YOLO throws.
And Jacobs is saving him.
He is.
Jacobs and Adam. It isn't the Las Vegas Raiders. It's the Las Vegas Adams and Jacobs.
Yeah. Hey, maybe we should do that next week. Is just for like a little segment. Is look at the upcoming free agents and just give our best case scenario of like 2
teams
free
we
agents
want them to go to. Let's do that. That sounds good. Tune in next week, guys. We'll talk. Go ahead and start talking next year. Free agency. Get your
especially for all you,
because that's what you got to start thinking about. Especially some of us hanging out.
So for all the bad teams, and I'm not necessarily excluding the Bucks from that. So we need to be.
I mean, you got to start thinking quarterback of the future.
Yes, we do.
Right there.
Tyler Huntley.
Yeah.
Some other
Make sure you hit that subscribe button, lock in, because we got some fun stuff heading your way. Shawn, where can they find you?
At the Kid Suds on Twitter, Drew, and at nickel_dom FB on Twitter, and at nickel_dom football on the illustrious IG. Drew, where can they find you and your content at, sir?
At Laugh with Harrison on Instagram. Check out, just put some new content out there for you. Some new reels. That's the new thing nowadays, reels. So yeah, just hit that subscribe button. Check out all the content on this page. I hope it won't disappoint. And we will see you next week.